Hey there, YouTube. Today I am going to be putting in a remote hydraulic on a Ford 3000 tractor. We've had this tractor for a long time, never had the rear remote hydraulic system installed, and we just bought a new baler. I'll probably do a video on why we're switching balers, because I do a video on everything. Anyway, that new baler requires remote hydraulics. I don't think that this is a very difficult process, but I've also never done this before, so I have no idea if I'm about to do this right or wrong. But what I figured I'd do is show you what I do know, and then you can follow me through this process and see what kind of mistakes I make here. So this is your hydraulic, basically like your pressure control right here. This is a control valve. I believe there's a pressure release valve in here somewhere. I'm gonna check that. This is this part right here is where your remote hydraulics would attach to. We're gonna remove this plate, and then I've got the remote hydraulic. I'll show you in a second, which will go on right here. That's about as much as I know right now. What I'm afraid of is the way that these tractors work is you have the hydraulics, the fluid down in the back gear chamber here, and there's a pump that pumps the hydraulics into kind of like a reservoir, and it builds up pressure. The pressure valve that I kind of loosened up completely is basically what that will do is if there's too much pressure built up in the system, it'll push it back into the tank and out of the kind of like the pressure manifold holding tank. I'm not even going to use the right words on this because I don't know a whole lot about this, but basically there's got to be pressure built up in the hydraulic system from the pump to the hydraulics, unless my pump leaks and from the tractor sitting the pressure is released. There's a good possibility of that. I'm kind of banking on that. But if there is pressure in there, I don't want to unscrew the accessory port and have like hydraulic fluid exploding all over the place. So that's really kind of what I've been researching here up front. So basically what I've been reading up on here is the overall hydraulic system of this tractor. I know that the flow valve I've opened all the way up. I want, I'm assuming turning it in the opposite direction than what it was is hopefully releasing pressure. I have also found a pressure port, but this is for the 4000, but the pressure port looks, it's the exact same thing on our 3000. So the instructions say for a 4000 look at this diagram, for a 3000 look at that diagram. The 3000 diagram doesn't look anything like my tractor. So I don't know anything about this. I'm going to look for both of these pressure relief valves and unscrew them both. So I'm going to show you all the things I'm going to open up here just to make sure there's no pressure in the system. Back here, I'm going to open this up. This is where you actually fill your hydraulic fluid on these tractors. I don't know that this is necessary, but that is one area I guess pressure could build up or air could build up. So this is your pressure control valve. Mine was almost screwed all the way in. I've opened that up all the way. I've put my hydraulic lifts all the way down, so I'm hoping that there's no pressure down there. Now this right here was labeled for the 4000 as a pressure, some sort of pressure control something or other. But I'm thinking that by opening this up, I'm releasing the pressure in there. So, let's see, what size is that? Looks like it's a 15 millimeter. If I have a 15 in here. Got a 16, will that work? That might be a little loose, but I think it'll work. Righty-tighty, loosey-goosey. See if this does anything. Well, that came out pretty easy. So I just took that off and a little bit of hydraulic fluid came out. Not much though. See if it stops there. Which tells me, you know, if this is a pressure valve of any kind, there's not much pressure in my system right now. And I'm thinking that that is what this little ditty was. Now that I've opened that up, there wasn't any pressure in there. I'm not really scared to go into this anymore. Now, the rest of this seems pretty simple. I mean, this doesn't seem like a very complicated machine. Righty-tighty, loosey-goosey. So I want this to go this way. I'm gonna loosen each of these. But isn't that just the darndest thing? These are different size than these over here. Yeah, a 16 might work on those. 16's too big. It's still a 16. That's good. That's 18. And we've got to get that center one there too. Yeah, I believe that's just a plug, so I'm not really going to worry with that. Yeah, see, those are different sized bolts. And that's pretty much what the inside of this looks like right there. I went on Amazon and I got this remote hydraulic system for a Ford 3000. Basically comes with 2 hoses, a couple attachments for the rear, a mounting bracket so you can permanently affix these to the rear. And then here is your new remote hydraulic plate. Zeno glue. I don't know. It's a lot prettier than the one I just took off. It's still shiny. This is your control handle, which I will put on after everything is said and done. Now in here I have some new bolts and some O-rings, because all of these have O-rings. All of the O-rings have to be replaced. Really, anytime you take this off, you should replace the O-rings. So I'm gonna put the O-rings on and I believe just bolt this into place. I think it is that easy. Now I'm going to look off of this plate to see where the O-rings were, and then on my new plate make sure I put those O-rings in the exact same spots. Of course, it's pretty easy to see where the O-rings go because of the little indentures there. And hold on. Now I am left with one extra ring. It's about that size. I don't know where this ring is supposed to go. Unless that's where it goes. Right there. Genius! That would have been bad. Don't leave that one off. There's only one way that this can go on, which makes it easy. And I could either use the new bolts, or I could use my old bolts. I'm gonna go with my old bolts, just because they're already painted blue, and that helps my tractor look pretty. Not that my paint job is at all attractive. So again, I got this off of Amazon, and I'm hoping it's a decent part. I mean, it looks pretty solid, but sometimes you never know when you buy off those online retailers what you're getting until you try it out. Okay, I'm gonna tighten this down real hard to alternate corners. Okay. Part one, done. Next thing I'm going to do is install my mounting bracket. This is to hold my hydraulic cords secure. I've seen some people mount them up here, some people back here. It's a preference. That I feel like is going to be the most accessible, probably the best alternative for me, so I'm going to put it on these two bolts. I like using this wrench just to size them up, because sometimes it gives me an accurate idea of the size. Like a 21mm bolt. Good Lord, no. Yeah, okay, gonna have to get one. All right. Okay, so these could be a little bit of a pain in the butt to break loose, but once you get them loose, you should be able to come right out. This bad boy sleds on right there. I ended up using an adjustable. I hate using adjustables for stuff like this because I don't want to ruin the head of the bolt. But I couldn't find, I think it's about a 21mm. Couldn't find one in my toolbox. So did it that way. But there you go. It's easy as that. So now I've got just my hydraulic hoses. There are two. One is slightly longer than the other. This would be the longer one. So that's going to go into the front port here, and then the shorter one goes into the port further underneath the seat. And once I get those screwed in, put these on the back side. So I'm almost there. I believe that just unscrews. Oh, geez. That's just a joke. Okay, so these, you don't have to unscrew them. You just have to get a hold of them. They just pull out, they're just plugs. Okay, so it's recommended that you wrap these in plumber's tape. My plumber's tape was a mess. I just pulled this out of the bathroom. We've been working on a project in our bathroom for a year. And I'm not sure how necessary it is to wrap these, but Never hurts, especially when you've got contents under pressure under there, to just make sure that there's no leaks. And then screw that in. That was super easy. Screw those on. So now in theory this should be good to go. I'm going to leave these plastic plugs in there because they're going to help keep dirt and debris out. Those are, I think, a fairly nice feature to have on there. I've seen a lot of tractors where it's just like that, and then junk gets all up in your roller balls, and dirt can get into your hydraulic system. It's just bad news. But that right there, super easy. These are real nice and secure. I like that. Hoses just run up to my remote. Okay, so my final step to this entire thing is to attach this handle. Now the handle does not move up and down. It moves front and back, kind of like that. So I think you kind of want to have, I think, a slight angle on it, but I don't want it hitting my foot, but this might be the best angle right here. Let's put that in, tighten it down. And that should be all I have to do. That's pretty much all there is to installing these remote hydraulic valves. You can get valve kits that will control multiple hydraulics. I only have a need for one. The multiple hydraulic kits are about, I mean, they can run you as much as $1,000, but just for the single hydraulic, I paid just under $300. That I had to pay shipping because it wasn't included in Amazon Prime, but it still got here within a couple days. It came from Broken Tractor. I think some of you may have heard of that company before, but I was pretty impressed with how quickly it got here. I'm not going to be able to put it to test yet, but I will shortly. If you watch our channel, we're supposed to be haying as soon as we can get our sickle bar mower back. So this will be put to use on our new baler, and that's when I'll really get to test it out and see how well it does. But super easy. I'm not even going to tell you what the dealership quoted me to install one of these things, but it was 3 times the price of the part. You could do this, anybody could do this. This is probably one of the easiest tractor repairs or additions, I guess it's more of an addition, that I have ever done. Super easy, very self-explanatory. Good luck.